How do we 25th Amendment his ass? This isn't a guy acting like he's crazy. This is real.
Brother, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Happy Easter. He is risen. I hope you celebrated.
He is risen. Now see, growing up Catholic, we would do Easter and all was good and but it wasn't like a super like celebratory like sure it was a celebration, but it wasn't like this big celebratory thing. I went to the church on Sunday with my sister and I mean people like had their hands in the air. I
So
mean they were they were overjoyed with excitement and I don't
that might be just the type of church that you went to, because as I understand it, Easter is a celebratory day. It's the day when Christ rose from the dead. Like
yeah.
that's like the thing. I saw a couple jokes about this online, but we call it Good Friday. But Good Friday is the day that Jesus supposedly got killed. So like, why wouldn't that be like Bad Friday or like Oh no Friday? Like
Sure.
Good Friday, that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, Easter is supposedly the day he rose. So I think that is supposed to be like a day of celebration. What I've never gotten is that all the people that I see that post things, they say he is risen, and that's always bothered me because I'm like, isn't it like he has risen?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the
That's
syntax
proper
is
grammar.
wrong. Yeah, the grammar's wrong. Anyhow, real quick Easter story. First of all, we always go to a farm in Texas, so you're familiar with, to have Easter with family. We didn't
Hmm.
get to go this year because my kid had a soccer game. They always do Easter on Saturday instead of Sunday out there, and we had a soccer game, so we didn't get to go. But my mom called and had a great story. I'm going to tell it real quick. There was a member of the family who's not new, but it was their first time to come to Easter. They are from out in the boonies in Texas, and somehow it came up that my mom was like, "Well, I've always been a Republican, but I don't really like Trump." And this guy's mind was blown. He had never, a 50-year-old man, he has never met anyone who doesn't like Trump. Like
What?
he thought she was clearly messing with him, and he kept coming back to it and being like, "You really don't like Trump?" He was like, "I've never met a single person that doesn't like Trump." And she had to tell him. She said she didn't want to throw anybody under the bus, but at one point she was like, "Yeah, there are other members of the family here who don't like Trump. They just don't talk about it." And his mind was blown. I tell you that just to tell you, like every now and then we need to be reminded about bubbles because as weird as that sounds, there are certain areas of this country where you would see the same thing on the other side. A liberal who would be like, "Hold on, wait, you like Trump? I've never met anybody who likes Trump." Like there are bubbles all across this nation. Real quick, when we were in Texas, a
Wait,
friend of
hold on.
okay,
The fact that his mind was blown just shows like how uninformed this person is.
not
Be
uninformed, how in a bubble, how misinformed. But you always fail.
no, this is uninformed because Trump, yes, he won the election, but he also lost the previous election. He also didn't win this election by, he says, a landslide, but he only won by like 52% with 252% or something like
Yeah.
that. So that means that half the country pretty much doesn't like him.
So you got to understand that this guy definitely thinks that 2020 was rigged. I don't have confirmation, but I can just assure you that he would say that was rigged. There's
Okay.
no way Trump could have lost. But when you point out that like you always try to focus on the right and be like this guy's totally uninformed. My point to you is there is a similar person on the left, or many similar people on the left that are shocked that anybody like if you could take somebody from, oh, I don't know, I'm gonna say Portland, and like drop them in a town in West Texas, their mind would be blown. There's stores that sell Trump merchandise like there. Like they wouldn't be
Mhm.
able to fathom it. So it's
I don't know. There
both
might be
sides.
somebody. There might be somebody, but it's very rare that you find somebody that uninformed.
I'd say it's equally rare on both sides. However many of them are there on the right, they are on the left as well.
Actually, my date tonight
Oh God.
didn't know Trump was the president until like 9 months in.
There's people out
But she
there
was living in Canada. I give her a little bit of, she doesn't pay attention to politics. She was living in Canada and she wasn't paying attention to any of that.
who
So
I was talking to a guy the other day and I mentioned the Iran thing and he was like, "Oh yeah, Iran. Like what's going on with that? I saw that like did we bomb them or something?" This was just like 3 days ago. And I was like, "Yeah, like we're kind of in a war with them." And he was like, "Really?" Like he was shocked. And I was just like I was like, there's people floating around out there that aren't paying attention at all to some of this stuff. I would make the argument that those people are probably better off than we are. Like they're
Yes,
more
yeah,
mentally healthy. Like they're not
for sure.
stressing. I almost wish I was that person. So
Yeah,
anyhow,
they have way less anxiety, way less
yeah,
depression. They're
exactly.
just
So
floating through life going like, do do
there's
do,
every now and then
everything's okay.
every now and then I want to be one of those people. I just want to just anyhow. But hold on, real quick before we get into the news. You got to do that this weekend. You told me on Thursday. You said I'm going camping for 3 days. I'll be out of touch,
Yeah,
no cell phone. And
yeah.
then I ended up talking to you on Sunday, and you were like, "Yeah, I came back Friday night. I just didn't tell anybody I was home all weekend." How was that? Like you just kind of got to be home undercover all weekend. Was that awesome?
Oh, it's great. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm a little when you told me that, I was a little jealous. I was like, "Oh my God, you just got to be alone and nobody
Yeah,
bothers you."
my plan was to spend that night, like to spend Friday and maybe Saturday night camping. But after Friday was so windy and so cold out there, I was just like, I got done and I just was I wanted to go home and I was like, well, if I go home, like I should probably just like lay low. Everybody thinks I'm out of town camping with no service. Like I'll just lay low for the day and get some stuff done and not pay attention to anything. So yeah.
I'm very jealous of you. Like, I have a fantasy. By the way, I love my family, but I have a fantasy every now and then of like saying that I have to go on a trip, but really just going like 20 miles away and getting a hotel room and just vegging for a day where everybody thinks I'm out of pocket, but I'm just hanging like that. That's my dream to do that one day. So, anyhow, on to the news. First of all, we're going to talk at the end about the fighter pilots. That's a big deal. But I kind of want to do the other stuff quickly before we get to the fighter pilots because I hate to tell you, if you're not aware, we had two fighter pilots downed over Iran. We had a very extravagant mission to go rescue them, and there's a lot of people that they're thinking conspiracy brained on this. And I got to tell you, like because it doesn't make sense to me, I'm very open to the conspiracy theories about this rescue mission. But that's gonna be in the second half. Have you seen any of
Okay.
this?
Yeah, I paid attention to his press conference. I guess he did it after the Easter
Yes.
conference. And yeah, I got a little something on how extravagant this mission is as well.
Yeah, well, I was watching a lot of YouTube today, and there's a lot of people that think that there were ulterior motives, but we're gonna cover that here in a minute.
Okay.
First things first, let's start with Easter morning. Now that I know you were in town, how long was it into Easter before you saw? I know you actually went to church on Easter morning. Did you see the Trump tweet before or after church?
I think it was after church. I heard it.
Did you like hear it on the radio or what?
Yeah, I think I heard it on the radio.
Okay, so real quick for anybody that hasn't seen the Trump tweet on Sunday morning. He said Tuesday will, and by the way, he never even like, I don't think he ever did a happy Easter tweet. Like he didn't normally, like Obama and W and all them, like they, even now that they're not presidents, they put out like on this Easter morning, we're thankful for blah, 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 whatever, a nice tweet. I don't think Trump ever did one. This was the tweet that started the day. Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped into one in Iran. There will be nothing like it with three exclamation points. Open the fucking straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. That's a little insane. So before I saw that, I gotta say, before I saw the tweet, I actually saw a headline. I was cruising just to see what's going on, and the headline said, Trump threatens war crimes, praises Allah on Easter Sunday. And I saw that headline, and at first I thought clearly I was looking at The Onion. I was like, okay, The Onion's getting a little ridiculous these days. And then I realized it wasn't The Onion. So then I was
Yeah.
like, time out. Let me go find this tweet. The praise be to Allah was what stuck out at me because I didn't understand, like, was he, I really didn't understand. Was he trying to make fun of Iran? Was he trying to, like, be in unity with the people of Iran? Like, I really didn't understand what that meant. Did you have any
Hmm.
thoughts on that?
No, I haven't even thought about it. I just thought what a crazy freaking tweet to tweet on Easter. Like why? Yeah, I had no idea. I'm not even gonna. I don't even want to know.
Well,
Why?
that like people were like, I can't believe he used the F word on Easter morning, and like that didn't shock me at all. Like
No.
honestly, he went from last week saying we don't even use the straight, we don't need it, we don't care if they don't open it back up, that's not our problem, to all of a sudden being like, open the fucking straight, you crazy bastards, where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, the sudden change in tone. But anyhow, what's weird is one person had a real big problem with Trump's tweet, and it wasn't who I expected. This is going to be a crazy show. I'm going to show you a clip of Alex Jones and tell you that I agree with him. I'm also going to show you a clip of Tucker Carlson here in just a second that I agree with. And there were like two Marge tweets that I didn't pull that I think were spot on. Like as I was looking at the Twitter today, I was like, I can't believe that like the people that make the most sense in my Twitter timeline are Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, and Alex Jones. Like I was hearting their tweets today.
Oh, you hearted.
Weird day for me. I don't know what's going on in this country right now, but I don't like it. Here's what Tucker thought about the Easter tweet.
Who do you think you are? You're tweeting out the F word on Easter morning? You'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. So obviously you're mocking the religion of Iran. Okay. If you seek a religious war, that's a good idea. But by the way, no decent person mocks other people's religions. You may have a problem with the theology. Presumably you do if it's not your religion, and you can explain what that is. But to mock other people's faith is to mock the idea of faith itself, and we should never mock that.
Okay.
Okay, and now I'm confused on Tucker a little bit, though. Laura Loomer has been calling him Tucker Carlson, Qatar, the country in the Middle East. She's been calling him that for a while, and people that are on the right that are mad at Tucker. The rights, people are saying the right's divided. I don't know if it's divided, but there's definitely weird little fractures along. It's along fault lines you wouldn't expect it to be in. But Tucker has been critical of Trump recently. There's a group of MAGA that's not liking Tucker now because he's always getting onto Trump's case. They're all saying that he's pro-Islam now, and he must have converted to Islam. And I've seen this for a couple months now, and every time I saw that, I was going, whatever. But like his main thing there seemed to be that he was mad that Trump insulted Islam, which doesn't seem like Tucker Carlson of 3 years ago. Like Tucker Carlson, and I may be wrong in this, but I felt like he was like very pro Judeo-Christian values and very anti Islam at one. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering this. But that was.
I mean, you got to remember Tucker was when he was on Fox, he was playing a character.
Okay.
He wasn't. He was praising Trump for everything he did on screen, but then behind the scenes, he was tweeting. He was texting people about how he did not like Trump, and he thought that Trump was. I forget exactly what his terminology was, but it was like. What was it? He said, remember, like it was right before he got fired. These tweets, these texts came out.
Oh, he said that Trump is the most awful person he's ever met, or something along those lines. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said
he
truly...
like shit all over Trump. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said he shouldn't have been president, and he should like go to jail or something like that too.
Yeah. Okay. I do remember that now.
Yeah.
So
he was playing a character, just like Megyn Kelly was playing a character, just like Sean Hannity's playing a character. Like the problem with them playing a character is it's to the detriment of our entire country.
Yeah, and there's that clip of I think it's like Dan Rather talking to Sean Hannity, and Sean Hannity basically asks him, he's like, "You don't like you don't think I'm good for America, do you?" And Dan Rather is like, "No, I don't. I think you're terrible for America," and like kind of gave him a little tongue whipping to his face. But yeah, I think you're right there. The other point on Tucker that it always boils down to the simplest answer. Podcasters don't have to disclose where their money's coming from. Like if Joe Rogan's taking money from all the tech billionaires, like he never has to tell us that. Yeah. Tucker Carlson left Fox and now has this podcast. We know that like the Saudis in particular are like trying to pump as much money into the American economy in certain ways to get favorable coverage. Like they have, and part of it's out in the open, like the whole live golf league or whatever, the LIV, like that was trying to like get a more favorable view of Saudi Arabia and America. Yeah. So to think that maybe they're giving Tucker a couple million a year for him to shine a good light on them, like that's not out of the realm. And that kind of makes me wonder, is it simply money? Does he have some donors or sponsors or whatever he wants to call them from the Middle East, and for the money he's saying good things about the Middle East? I think it could be that simple.
Yeah, you also maybe Tucker has values and he's a Christian and he honestly believes that you shouldn't be mocking other religions. I mean,
Yeah.
our our whole constitution or our constitution was, separation of church and state. Everybody should have their own religion, or can have their own religion. We are not a one religion country.
Yeah.
Is
America is the country where you're free to be a Christian. It doesn't
Yeah,
mean you have to be a Christian. You're just
you're
free to be a
free to
Christian.
be any religion you want.
Yeah.
And maybe he's holding true to those values. I don't know. Or maybe he's
Maybe.
getting money. Who knows?
Maybe
I
he
don't think
just
he needs money.
honestly, maybe he just met a Muslim. Like, I have this whole theory. Follow me on this. They were about to put a mosque in up here in a city right next to my city a couple months ago. And man, the town hall meetings about it were great. I was watching them online every night. It was like my favorite watching for a couple weeks.
Okay.
People were pissed. We don't want them Muslims here, that kind of thing. I ended up talking to people around here where I was like, man, to me, I was like, this is crazy. I can't believe this is happening. Like the town hall itself. And I was
Hmm.
asking people about it, and immediately they'd be like, yeah, I saw something about that. Like, I just think having mosques here is a bad idea. And like, through the couple people I talked to about this, they all had one thing in common. They've never known a Muslim. They've never had a Muslim friend. They've never been around them. So it's a whole, you don't trust what you don't know. You fear what you don't know. And like,
And yeah.
back at the company I worked at for 18 years, like I worked with a lot of Muslims and they were all good, hardworking people. They were just like us. And so for that reason, I look at Muslims in a certain light. I honestly think that's part of the problem is like a lot of people have never met a Muslim or a homosexual or a Democrat or a Republican. Like people like all Republicans are this, people have their own theory. But then it's like, dude, I'm around Republicans all day long, and if you don't talk politics, they're awesome. And even some of them, if you talk politics, it's still all right. Some of them you can't talk politics with because they'll end a friendship over it. But
Sure.
anyhow, that's my thought there. Um, Also, real quick, in that Easter tweet, he said that Tuesday night, and he officially said it's Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is 7 o'clock my time and 6 o'clock your time, is the deadline. Now, depending on how you count it, this is either the fifth or the sixth time he has extended the deadline just on his own. And he always tries to say, this time he did, but he always tries to say that Iran asked for an extension of the deadline. And then immediately Oman and Turkey and Saudi Arabia, like not Saudi Arabia, but Oman and Turkey and Pakistan will come out and say, no, they didn't ask for that. Trump's lying. Like they're not asking for extensions. They're flat out refusing the deadline. But he extended the deadline again to Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. What do you think? Give me your best case odds. Do we get yet another taco? Does he end up saying, does he try to say, oh, actually, we're really close to a deal and now I'm going to extend it to Friday at 8 or, or is he going to actually go through with it tomorrow?
Um, I think he's going to extend it again. I think he's going to taco again.
Taco again?
I think so.
Okay. You're probably right.
What do
I,
you think?
yeah, I think you're right. Unfortunately, I think that, and
I
also,
mean, okay. Here's the thing: is he's committing war crimes already, and I think it's coming to light. Like, and I think Pete Hegs is like, "Oh yeah, let's do this and let's do that. Let's bomb their bridges and let's bomb all their infrastructure and let's do all this." And Pete Heg and Trump is just like, "Okay, let's do it." Yeah, and he didn't really. I don't think he realized that these were all war crimes that he's committing, and now he's being asked about the war crimes that he's committing, and he's just like, "I don't want to talk about that."
Well,
And I
supposedly to him, they're justifying it by saying, well, it's dual use. It's civilian, but the military can also use it. So they're telling him that legally he has ground to stand on because it's dual use. That's what they're telling him.
He fired all his good lawyers.
Yeah. Well, I don't think his lawyers telling him that. I think it's Pete Hegseth telling him that.
It goes through the lawyers, right? Like
I,
I would imagine. Well, maybe
it's
not. Probably not. Actually, I'm gonna take that back.
in normal times, yes, it goes through the lawyers. Right now, what's going on in the White House? I think Stephen Miller and Pete Hegseth have a direct pipeline to Trump, and they can just tell him
Hmm.
if it's legal or illegal. They tell him that's good enough for him. Doesn't have to come from a lawyer.
Okay.
So I thought this was a funny clip. I think I have two clips of Lindsey Graham for you tonight. But
Ooh.
to me, I'm like, everybody has to be seeing that Trump is tacoing on this. Like he keeps extending. It was 48 hours, then it was 5 days, then it was 10 days. 10 days was up this morning. He ended up moving it to Tuesday, and he ended up saying at one point today that he did it because he didn't feel like it'd be a good thing to start a war the day after Easter. So 2 days after Easter is fine, but one day after Easter is not a good time to start a ground invasion. So anyhow,
Okay. Hey, will you just tell me, is the Lindsey Graham stuff, is him at Disney World? Do you
no,
have clips
it's not.
of him?
Nope.
No.
I do you have any clips of that?
No.
Okay. Well, let's just say
Sure.
real quick. Lindsey Graham was spotted walking around Disney World like a week ago, and
By himself.
now, so supposedly he was there with a friend and their children. We don't know if the friend was a guy or a girl and their child, because there are some pictures but they blurred out these people because they're innocent people. They're friends with Lindsey
Okay.
Graham, so they can't be that innocent. But there are pictures of him just walking through the park holding like a bubble wand and stuff, and it's kind of hysterical. It's like he's so excited that we're finally attacking Iran. This is his Super Bowl. He went to Disney. like that's anyhow. My thought was we're all clearly seeing that Trump is tacoing every time he said, and he's doing self-imposed deadlines, and then he's tacoing on them. Nobody's making him do a deadline here. He's doing it on his own. And my thought was, what are Republicans thinking of this? Like clearly they have to see how weak he looks during this. This clip from
Yeah.
Lindsey makes me think that maybe they're seeing it in a different light.
Has to be off the table. I prefer diplomacy, but if they don't do that, how many times do you have to be told by Trump, I'm going to do something to you, and he actually does it before you believe it? So this is a defining moment in the history of the Mideast.
So he said, how many times do you have to get told by Trump he's going to do something, and then he actually does it before you believe it? And it's like, well, hold on, wait, he's not actually doing it, though. He keeps making threats, and then he extends it. But the way that Lindsey Graham just told the Fox audience, every time Trump's made a deadline, he's acted upon it, and they're still not learning their lesson. That's just straight up a fiction. Like that's not reality as to what's going on. But okay, that's the
Leave
different.
it to good old Lindsey Graham.
It's the different bubbles, man. Like if you're watching Fox all day, like we did this like a year ago where you watched Fox for like a week, or you did only right wing information for like 5 days straight, and at the end there I told you what happened this week, and you were like,
Yeah.
I didn't hear any of that. Like you only heard the stuff that they wanted you to hear. So
We should do that again. I'll do that again soon.
I think and that's how you end up with these situations where people are in their bubble and they have no clue about what's really going on. So anyhow,
It's kind of crazy.
one reason I think he is going to taco, I will say, apparently there's more troop movement that just started going to the Middle East right now, so we don't have everybody in place. The interesting one, Tom Cotton said, this is a tweet from him today. Today, the brave men and women of Arkansas's 142nd Field Artillery Brigade depart for the Middle East. Arkansas is thankful for their service. May God protect them. The people that we've been moving over have been either special operators or part of like, if you're going to do a bombing campaign, that's who you would need. This is the Field Artillery Brigade, which is directly like if you're going to have troops on the ground. And they just left Arkansas today for the Middle East. So they're going to get there overnight tonight at some point. They might already be there, but like that's pretty quick to get them there and then try to launch something big tomorrow. So I think for whatever reason, I don't think we're going to have all our assets in place yet. And his taco is going to be a strategic one where the military people are probably telling him like, sir, by Friday, we could have everything set up. If we go tomorrow, we're not ready yet. So it's not
Friday after the markets close is the perfect day to start ground interiors.
You've
been saying that for the last 3 weeks, so maybe this Friday will actually be right.
So it's been 5 weeks in a row now. Somebody went back and pulled every tweet, but every Friday, as soon as the markets close, Trump threatens Iran with some crazy shit. Like he's escalating. And then Sunday night and Monday morning, he says, we're on the verge of a peace deal. And then not a whole lot throughout the week. And then Friday again, I'm going to blow the hell out of him. It's 5 weeks straight. Friday afternoon, hell, what is it? What was it he said to Kim Jong-un? I can't even remember.
My button's bigger than yours.
He said my button, but he said fire and fury. We're gonna rain down fire and fury on you, or something like that. And he does a fire and fury tweet every Friday afternoon, and then hey, we're about to sign a peace deal every Monday morning, and he's done that for 5 weeks straight. So Don't fall for it again. We're all gonna. The stock market keeps
Interesting.
falling for it. Today, real quick, you're gonna have some clips from the press briefing they did today. But while he was speaking, the stock market was going up. It was the craziest thing ever. I was watching it and I was like, "This is crazy. This isn't good." But then I'm looking at my computer and the stock market was slowly ticking up the whole time. Like the market liked what he was saying, which I don't understand it. Even when it comes to the price of gas, every day they're like, "Oh, the average national cost of gas just went up 2 more cents." And then I drive by and my gas pump went, or the gas station down the street went down 4 cents. And I'm just like, this doesn't none of this is making sense to
Yeah.
me. Like, how is the gas getting cheaper at my gas station? And the news is telling me the national average is going up every day. I don't understand it. So
I don't. You got me, man. The stock market's something that's crazy at this point. I always thought like it was always pretty even killed, right? Like, the president
pretty
says something crazy, the stock market goes down.
it was pretty based in
The president
reality. Like, that's what I would say. It was based in
used to
reality.
be.
Yeah. Not anymore.
Yeah, and now it is not.
Okay. Well, anyhow, real quick, before the press conference that he gave today, it was actually like in the press briefing room with Hegseth. We did have the Easter roll, which I thought always happens on Easter. Maybe because it was a Sunday this year, they did it on Monday. I don't know, but they did it this morning, the day after Easter. It's like all the white.
Isn't Easter always on a Sunday?
Yeah, you're right, Easter. So I always thought they did it on Easter. Maybe I'm totally misremembering that, but they did it on Monday morning this time for whatever reason.
It is Easter Monday. This is called Easter Monday.
Then maybe they always do it on Easter Monday. Like I said, very well could be
Okay.
wrong. It was just I was expecting
No.
the Easter roll to be happening yesterday, and it didn't, and I was confused. And then it happened today on Monday, so I could be the one wrong on that. But
Okay.
I only have two clips from this. The first one, and it was just one of those where it was like, for a second, I thought I was on psychedelics. Trump is talking from like the balcony of the White House, looking out over like the lawn, and he's giving a speech, and
Uh-huh.
Melania is to his right, and then the fucking Easter Bunny is to his left. And the expression on the Easter Bunny's face was just, I don't know, it was interesting to me. But like he spent most of the time talking about like Venezuela and Iran and war, and like the Easter Bunny just kind of kept turning and looking at him and then looking back. But it's an expressionless bunny, so just like he had a blank. Anyhow, I wish I had been on mushrooms or something while this was going on. But here's a brief clip just so you can get the visual.
And I don't think it gets much more hostile than Iran. They're capable fighters. They're very tough people. And there are others like that. You don't mind when the enemy is weak, but that enemy is strong. Not so strong like they were about a month ago, I can tell you. In fact, right now, they're not too strong at all, in my opinion, but we're soon going to find out, aren't we?
I think that the Easter Bunny should be next to Trump at all times.
It was like watching Donnie Darko. Remember that movie? And it's just like
Do you think Stephen Miller's in the Easter Bunny costume?
It's Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio has every job. If there's anybody in the administration in the suit, it's Marco Rubio, hands down. There are some AI or Photoshop pictures of the Easter Bunny like taking his hat off, and it was Marco, and I thought that was hysterical. They were all Photoshop.
Okay,
It was too funny.
that's good.
So we had that. He did after that. He talked to the press, and a lot of what he said he then repeated in his press conference. But it was the typical like, "Sir, you said you're trying to help the Iranian people. If you bomb all their infrastructure, isn't that going to hurt them?" And then he would just be like, "Who are you with? PBS? That's a liberal organization. I'm not going to answer that." And then he just move on to the next one. And it was one of those. But the other just this had me rolling today, and I don't know why. You know when there's like an old man talking to a group of kids and then he starts talking about something that either is inappropriate or like way over their heads, and it's like, "Come on, Grandpa, let's take you away from the kids now." You got to listen, but see if you can tell what Trump is seated at a table of children, and see if you can tell what he decided to bring up.
Biden would use the auto pen. He'd have an auto pen following. Joe Biden, he didn't sign. He was incapable of signing his name. So they'd follow him around with this big machine. You know what it was called? An auto pen. And he'd have the auto pen sign for him. He'd take the paper, hand it to his guys, they'd sign it with an auto pen, give it back. Not too good, right? Better to sign it instead.
Interesting.
Have I ever told you kids about the auto pen? I don't know why. Like when I saw that clip, I was just like, it's time. Like he's hit Biden levels. These kids are just sitting there like. There was also a funny time where Melania came up and she was talking to the group, and one of the kids was like, "Who is she?" And she was like, "Oh, I don't know. Who am I?" And then Donald Trump was like, "Oh, she's a big movie star from Hollywood." And like it was just a weird moment. Like he sat there and told what a great movie star she was, and then there was just silence, and it was like, okay, moving on. So anyhow, that was the Easter speech. Now you pulled some clips from the press conference he had. It was only like 90 minutes later he had a press conference. What do you got from that?
Yeah, so let's see here. Podcast. So we were talking about the aircraft, the mission to rescue our pilot,
Okay.
and I've got an interesting video here. I didn't realize what a spectacular mission this was.
And he was injured, and he was an amazing, amazing thing. He scaled cliff faces, bleeding rather profusely, treated his own wounds, and contacted American forces to transmit his location. They have a very sophisticated beeper type apparatus that is on them at all times. And when they go out on these missions, they make sure they have lots of battery space and they're in good shape. And this one worked really well, amazingly, saved his life. We immediately mobilized a massive operation to retrieve him from the mountain holdout. And he kept going higher and higher. The mountain kept getting rougher and rougher and really very, very hard to find. The second rescue mission involved 155 aircraft, including 4 bombers, 64 fighters, 48 refueling tankers, 13 rescue aircraft, and more. We were bringing them all over, and a lot of it was subterfuge. We wanted to have them think he was in a different location because they had a vast military force out there. Thousands of people were looking. So we wanted them to look in different areas, so we were scattered all over like we were right on top of them. We had 7 different locations where they thought, and they were very confused. They said, well, wait a minute, they've got groups here, they've got groups there. It's an amazing thing. I was listening to these great people, these great generals. General Raisin Kane was amazing, and Pete Hegseth was amazing.
So several things there. He mentioned the little beeper that they have on him that sends out a signal. So I'm going to get a little bit into the conspiracy on this, but like at certain points in that press conference, they were talking about how the CIA had to help locate the pilot, and it was like finding a grain of sand in the desert. They were scouring for him, and people that are former military were saying that doesn't make any sense. Like he has like I think they called it a transponder. Trump called it a beeper, whatever. But like
transponder makes sense.
They have some kind of a homing device on them that they like. Theoretically, we knew where he was every step along the way. That's how it should have gone. Maybe his little transponder got damaged or something. I don't know. But we were using satellites to look for a heat signature. They said at one point they thought there was a heat signature and that you couldn't tell if it was a human or not. And they watched it for 45 minutes. And then at one point he stood up and they could tell it was a human and they knew it was him. That doesn't make any sense unless his transponder is broken. And if that's the case, then say his transponder got damaged. But Trump said right there, he said that he had his beeper and it had plenty of battery space. So it should have been working all the time.
Why? Battery space?
Okay,
he doesn't know what he's talking about.
He doesn't. And I don't know if you have this clip or not, but at one point he turned to General Kane and he was like, how many people exactly did we have in there? And General Kane goes, actually, I'd prefer if we keep that secret. And like the whole room kind of laughed. And Trump was like, okay. Everything he just said there about how we used the CIA to do a deception plan and confuse the Iranians and make them think that we were looking over here. And then at one point we made them think that we'd already rescued the second pilot. So they dropped their guard. Like that's all stuff that the military and the CIA would much rather we not say out loud because there's a solid chance that another plane gets shot down and we have another pilot behind enemy lines. And Trump just told them, he told the whole world our playbook on how we did this. It would have been nice to do it again if needed. But now, like, hey, just so you know, here he's like a bad villain at the end of a movie where they sit there and explain the whole plan when they think they're about to kill. Like that's what Trump just did. It's like, don't say it out loud, man. Anyhow.
Right. I mean, and 155 aircraft were used in this
So
mission.
a lot of those were like aircraft that were circling and all that. Now, let's get. I know you got more clips here, but real quick, let's get into this mission because this was very confusing to
Yeah.
me. First of all, we tried to send in two like they're called Jolly Greens, but from what I understand, they're kind of like Blackhawks. We tried to send in two helicopters to get the airmen, and apparently they took enemy fire from like apparently every village in Iran. They just have like AK-47s, and as the helicopters were flying overhead, they were all shooting at the helicopters. That kind of kills the whole myth that like, oh, the people of Iran can't wait for us to get there. We'll be greeted as liberators. No,
Yeah.
every village our helicopters flew over, they were taking fire from. They don't like us over there. This whole they want us to save them thing is killing me. But we tried to do that once and it didn't work. So then this is where it gets weird. We sent in two, and they're like specialized C-130s. They're C-130s that are tricked out for like special operations use. When I heard that we sent two of them in and landed them at like a makeshift airfield, that made no sense to me. When I talked to you, that's the first thing I said. It's like, that doesn't make sense that we flew two C-130s in and landed them in the middle of hostile territory. You wouldn't, it doesn't make sense to me that we would do that. Okay. Inside the C-130s were these little helicopters we call little birds. They very tiny little helicopters. We roll them out like the two soldiers can pick up the front of these helicopters and roll them out on wheels on the back, and then they within 10 minutes they fold all the rotors around and get it to where it's able to fly, and then they took off from this base and flew 10 to 20 miles, something like that, to get the pilot, and then flew him back to this little makeshift base, and then the plan was to then tuck away the rotors on the helicopter, roll it back into the plane, and then take off with two C-130s taking off from a dirt airstrip. It's a former agricultural airstrip or something like that. It's not meant for C-130s. If helicopters couldn't get to him, but then we flew C-130s in and pulled helicopters out of them and then flew them to him, I don't understand that. And maybe there's a really logical explanation, but throughout the press conference today, they didn't sell me on why they did this. I'm still confused. It turns out while they were there, the helicopters and the C-130s on the ground, we claim our official story is that the C-130s got stuck in the sand. The nose gear got stuck. It was muddy and they got stuck in the mud. And so we had to send in different planes to get our 100+ people out of there. And then we sent in bombers to bomb our C-130s and helicopters because there's technology on those that we don't want to fall into the hands of the Iranians. So we lost about $400 million worth of his two C-130s and either 2 or 4 little birds that we had to blow up. Now, we claim they just got stuck in the sand, and that's why we did all this. The Iranians have had film crews out there all day, and you can see, even though we blew it up, you can see bullet holes in a lot of the stuff. So it seems like they came under fire there. We're not admitting that, but it seems likely that there was some kind of a gunfight in that area, or they were taking incoming of some kind. What also doesn't make sense is that we landed, like I said, about 10 to 20 miles away from the pilot, but really close to one of the 3 nuclear sites that we bombed back over the summer. It's I think it's pronounced Isfahan. It's the Isfahan site. We landed really close to that, like within a mile or two of that. The theory out there is that we were trying to establish a forward base there that we could hold for a couple days and try to get the 60% enriched uranium out that's buried under that site, trying to get it out and fly it out of there on the C-130s. That's the conspiracy theory. I kind of buy it. Like I hate to be a conspiracy brain, but like the theory is we were going to try to see if we could hold that airstrip, but then it became untenable and we had to abandon that idea and just get the pilot and get out of there. That makes sense to me because it still doesn't make sense to me that we landed 2 C-130s in the middle of the desert and then pulled helicopters out of them, then flew the helicopters to the guy. That doesn't make any fucking sense. So I do have a clip real quick, and here's one of my 2 Alex Jones clips for the night. But this is what scares me: is it makes sense to me, but also it's what Alex Jones believes, which instinctively makes me think that it can't be correct. But here's a little clip of Alex.
The plan was this weekend was a special ops operation to go in and seize their enriched uranium. He was going to use that as his off-ramp, say, we got rid of the nuclear, we're done, we're out of here. And then he needed to rein in Israel on his way out because that would satisfy Iran if we those two things, rein in Israel and pull and get us out. then what happened is it all went AWOL. The everything went AWOL, and that's why they had to suddenly rescue somebody. They had to convert a special ops operation into a rescue operation. That's why some of the planes were involved that don't fit normal rescue operations. Some of the troops were involved that don't normally fit.
And then why is he giving out all that classified info on TV?
Because this is how nuts he is. He's living really in his own world. And if you share negative information with him, he screams and yells at you.
Oh, no, I was told over a year ago, people very close to us, in the meetings, like, no one will tell him anything. Even Susie Wiles had to, not defending her, she said she leaked this, said, you got to give him negative info. Stop being yes men. But he screamed, he even says, my voice is hoarse because I've been screaming at people.
Yeah, completely. And nobody is immune. He goes off on anybody. And just goes, and that's when Susie Wiles is so scared that she's leaking to the press that he is completely not listening to anything negative. That gives you an idea of how bad it is.
So little extra there for you, Alex. The next clip I have from Alex here in a little bit is he's turned on Trump, but like. Again, that makes more sense to me. But these two crazy people, Alex Jones and whoever his crazy guests were, that makes more sense to me than what Trump and Exeth are trying to say happened. And I could be wrong. Yeah. I'm looking forward to being proven wrong. It doesn't add up at all in my brain. So
yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But they've been lying to us since the beginning. Trump's been lying to us for 10 years now. So
and they're still lying. They're lying in ways that's like easily provable. Just last night, Iran hit one of our bases in Kuwait, I believe, and they came out with a statement that they hit our base and they destroyed like 15 aircraft of some kind. And then we came out an hour later and said, no, none of our bases have been hit tonight. They're lying, blah, blah. Like official CENTCOM put this out. And then we found out this morning that, yes, they did hit our base and they injured 15 of our soldiers and took out like 10 to 12 aircraft or something like that. And like the Pentagon just came out and like instinctively lied. And then it turns out that those are the ones that bother me, where it's like 12 hours ago, you said this was a lie. And now it turns out it happened. Like it gives me no trust in anything that the White House or the Pentagon is saying right now.
Yeah. How much has this war cost us so far?
44 billion is the last number I saw.
44 billion.
44 billion.
This says 11.3 billion a day. Oh, at day 6. Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's a tracker. I keep seeing an Iran war tracker, and I saw it today, probably about 5 o'clock. Today's Monday. It was about 44 billion.
Yeah, we're at 43,311.
I'll take that.
38 days. This war's been going on for 38 days. It doesn't seem like that, does it?
See, you're spreading misinformation right now, Docs. Oh. We're not at war. This is an excursion. We've been on an excursion for 38 days. Get it right, man. Congress, have you heard Congress declare an act of war? I haven't heard them declare war on anybody. So
it's a rogue war from our president, is what it is.
Yeah. Congress deserves so much blame here because they have the power to stop this and they don't want to. So I'm mad at them. Anyhow, what else you got from this presser today?
You want to know what made me laugh today? Actually, we'll go with this. Trump is actually going to go with a third term, right?
Okay.
But it's not exactly what you think.
Okay. I'm curious.
We haven't heard that in, I think, maybe hundreds of years. Now with Venezuela, and just so you understand, the people of Venezuela, they say if I ran for president of Venezuela, I'm polling higher than anybody has ever polled in Venezuela. So after I'm finished with this, I can go to Venezuela. I will quickly learn Spanish. It won't take too long. I'm good at language. And I will go to Venezuela. I'm going to run for president.
I'm honestly in favor of that. Let's try to get this to happen sooner than 2028. Like, how can we expedite this? And you know how funny it would be if Trump, and which there's no way this would ever happen, but if Trump took over as the president of Venezuela and then a Democrat got elected president here, because suddenly we'd have the military. Like, we'd have the ability to bully him around a little bit. That would be fun for me.
Oh, that would be so great.
Whereas this is all fantasy, but still it'd be funny.
My favorite part about that is he's like, I would learn the language so quick. I'm so good with language.
So as far as I know, I've never heard that Trump is bilingual at all. I've never heard, and you would think if he could speak a little Spanish or French or Russian or whatever, he would have done it. Like all politicians that are bilingual
Yeah.
do it to make sure you know that, oh, he speaks Spanish. Like,
And Trump would show off so fast.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've always been good with language. It's like when he said, I have the best words. Like, I'm willing to put every dollar I own on a bet saying that he doesn't know a second language. I feel strongly
Yeah,
about
I don't
that.
even think he knows like the basics of Spanish, like hola.
No. Yeah. If you dropped him off in the middle of Mexico, he can't find a bathroom, I'll tell you.
No.
He wouldn't. Baño, baño. So,
All right, and there's one more video from this conference that's a little scary.
oh, scary, you say.
Yeah.
As you probably know, we didn't talk about the first one for an hour. Then somebody leaked something, which we'll hopefully find that leaker. We're looking very hard to find that leaker. And talked about there's somebody missing. They basically said that we have one and there's somebody missing. Well, they didn't know there was somebody missing until this leaker gave the information. So whoever it was, we think we'll be able to find it out because we're going to go to the media company that released it, and we're going to say, national security, give it up or go to jail. And we know who, and you know who we're talking about, because some things you can't do. Because when they did that, all of a sudden, the entire country of Iran knew that there was a pilot that was somewhere on their land that was fighting for his life. And it also made it much more difficult for the pilots and for the people going in to search for him. All of a sudden, they know that there's somebody out there. They see all these planes coming in. It became a much more difficult operation.
So I'm glad you pulled that. I also had that for later. Do you know who the leaker was?
No.
Oh, we've already gotten to the bottom of this. We know exactly
Oh.
where this came from. So when all this was happening, that we think we're hearing that they got the first pilot. They got the pilot. Okay, now they're looking for the second pilot. All these reports were coming from one Twitter account, and it was a news station in Israel, Channel 12. So it was everybody was even citing, saying Channel 12 of Israel is reporting that we do have the pilot. We're still looking for the weapon systems operator. I didn't know, like, I was kind of like, I don't know what Channel 12 is. Like that, who knows if that's reputable or not. But slowly and surely, all the U.S. publications, the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, CBS, ABC, they were all citing Israel's Channel 12. This guy's name's Amit Siegel. This tweet here from Newsweek. This is from today. Israeli journalist Amit Siegel identified himself as the first to report a missing U.S. airman in Iran. He was the first with all of it. Like, he knew we got the first one. He knew we were looking for the second. He knew that there was an operation underway to get the second one. Turns out, several reporters were pointing this out today. He is buddy and always getting the scoop from one person in the Israeli government named Bibi Netanyahu. If there's ever a scoop, he's the one that Bibi, so it seems like Bibi was the leaker. And Trump made a good point there, saying that this leak could have jeopardized the operation. It could have gotten our soldier killed. Well, who would stand to benefit if that happens and this war escalates? You don't have to answer that. I'm just it's a rhetorical question.
Sure.
So now knowing this, Trump said he's going to figure out who did it and imprison them. What do you want to bet there's no way in heck he's going to let this go now? Now that we all know this came from Bibi to this Israeli journalist, you're never going to hear another word about prosecuting this leaker again.
But what's scary is he's threatening to throw journalists in jail.
Oh, he's been threatening that all along. And for the record, I'll make this clear. I believe Obama did jail a journalist for not Obama himself, but his DOJ jailed a journalist for not giving up their source on some kind of a national security leak. So that's kind of like Obama with the drones. Like, there's little stuff that as a lefty you don't hear about. But yes, before I say this for sure, let me do a quick Google. Did Obama jail a journalist? If I could type. AI to the rescue. It says, while Obama administration did not directly jail any American journalists for their reporting, it was widely criticized for an unprecedented war on whistleblowers that frequently targeted journalists and their sources. So maybe he didn't jail him. See, here we got James Risen. The Department of Justice spent years trying to force Risen to testify and reveal his confidential source in a leak investigation. While he faced potential jail time for contempt of court, the DOJ eventually relented in 2015. Then there's James Rosen from Fox News. In 2010, the DOJ labeled Rosen a co-conspirator, an aider, and abettor in an effort to obtain his private emails and phone records. He was never charged or arrested, but the move was condemned by press freedom advocates. And then also in 2013, the DOJ seized Associated Press records. Skim through this. Part of a leak investigation, blah blah blah. So that's you. Everybody's pro free speech until they get in power, and all of a sudden, then now it's like, there's certain things you can't do or you can't say. Same with freedom of the press. Suddenly, when you're in power and the press is snooping all around, suddenly you have issues with the press crawling up your ass. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
That's kind of interesting that I mean, because don't leakers have some sort of immunity in this?
so it's kind of a gray area because yes, but also like if leaking national security information is a crime, like I think it's like a felony. So then if they can say that the reporter that got the leak and published it, if he's protecting that source, he's aiding and abetting a felon in the act of committing a felony, which is leaking it. And then you get into, but freedom of the press and which one takes precedent. And it's not a black and white thing. Like there's some gray in it, I will say. Edward
So the
Snowden,
leaker could get in trouble, but the press should not get in trouble, is kind of what you're telling me.
that's the way that the law is kind of written. But if the leaker never gets caught because the press refuses to give them up, like Edward Snowden is the other one. What's the WikiLeaks guy? I forgot his name right now.
Yeah. I know what you're talking
Anyhow,
about.
yeah, like the Obama administration was going after him hardcore, and then as soon as they got in power, the Trump administration was going after him, and they eventually got him. I believe Julian Assange. I believe he's in jail right now, and I think the Trump administration is who finally got him. And when Trump was running the first time in like 2015, the right was like, "Why are they going after Julian Assange? He's a hero. Like he was a whistleblower." And then when Trump got in power, they kept the pedal to the metal, trying to get him in jail. So both sides are equally bad at this, is all I'm saying. One side's not worse than the other necessarily.
Well, I think if you're leaking information that the government is harming the American people, you should actually get some sort of a free pass on that.
Well, spying on the American people is what Snowden did. He proved that the Patriot Act, they were spying on all of us. And he's been in Russia for the past, 17 years now, like hiding out. Because if he steps foot back in America, whether it's a Democrat in the White House or a Republican, he's getting arrested.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So, like I said, both sides suck at that one. Anyhow, you got anything else on the press conference?
No, nothing else on the press conference.
Okay.
I only watched half of it.
Okay, well let me run you through my other Alex Jones clip real quick because I believe this was today after the press conference. Alex Jones is hitting the panic button right now. He's not doing well. He doesn't like how this is going. Here's Alex.
Compared to existential threat, how do we 25th Amendment is asked?
The problem is to get the 25th Amendment, it's harder than impeachment. You have to get 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate.
So what do we do?
Tackle Trump and let him pretend he's president and publicly report that he's going through a health issue and Vance take over. It literally needs to be something like that. It's that bad.
I've known you a long time. You've never called for an internal coup before.
Ever. But that's how dangerous this is. That's how risky it is for the whole
world. Yeah, if I was the Democrats, I'd stop poking Trump and messing with him. That only makes it worse. Like, you guys need to watch out. This isn't a guy acting like he's crazy. This is real.
What's there going to be to take over in 2026 or 2028 if this hits the fan? If we get it, he's threatening an extinction level event for the people of Iran tomorrow. Does nobody think there'll be any blowback from that? If he follows through on that, the whole world is screwed.
Should we be alarmed at how Alex Jones is talking about the president right now? Like, that's an indicator that there are problems in my mind. Maybe I'm wrong. But Alex he's calling for the 25th Amendment there, which for anybody listening that doesn't know, the 25th Amendment would be initiated by his cabinet, like his loyalists that he picked. And it needs to be like a majority, either a majority or 2/3 of them have to decide that he's no longer fit to hold the office and they can vote to remove him. Never going to happen. He picked loyalists. Like, there's no way that's happening. I feel bad for JD above all else because this is just ruining JD's chances at 2028. Like
Big time.
his only chance is to leave the administration right now, to quit and say, I disagree with what's happening in Iran. I still agree with a lot of things the president does, but I disagree with Iran. And that would keep him somewhat clear for 2028. If he stays through this, he's gone. Marco Rubio is right now, in my mind, it's down to Rubio versus DeSantis for 2028 on the Republican side. Like it's gonna be one of those.
DeSantis still has a chance.
I think DeSantis is very wisely. DeSantis is not him, but his comms people are tweeting out that, oh, look, inflation's going back up. And like they're taking these little veiled shots at the Trump administration right now to make sure and separate themselves. You can tell they're definitely positioning themselves for 2028 as the Republicans that have the right idea on the economy. What Trump did wasn't right. We have a right idea. That's what they're trying to go for.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't really been paying attention. I feel like he just kind of like disappeared in the spotlight.
He disappeared for the first year, and now that things are going bad for Trump, he's slowly poking back up. So,
Okay.
and also, what's weird is he's gonna leave as governor. He's gonna leave kind of a hero to Republicans in Florida, but then the people that are trying to replace him are no good. It's Byron Donalds, who famously found Jesus in a Waffle House parking lot, or yeah, something like that. It's him, and then this guy named James Fishback, who's like a groyper, and they're battling for it. Right now, the polling has the Democrat winning Florida. I don't think that's really going to happen, but the fact that the Democrat's up like 3 points right now is kind of amazing. So we'll see how it actually shakes out. And then real quick, just so we all know what Iran's saying here. Iran today, Trump kept saying, "Oh, well, we're negotiating right now," and they came out and said, "We are not negotiating right now. We haven't communicated with them at all. But for everybody to see, here's our 10-point plan." America keeps putting out a 15-point plan that they want Iran to agree to all 15 points. Iran said, we're not agreeing to any of those, except for there's one, no nuclear weapon. And they've been saying all along, we never said we wanted a nuclear weapon. They could be full of shit. But they've been saying all along they didn't want one, so they're willing to agree to that. They won't agree to anything else. Their 10 points are a non-starter for us. They said, number one, guarantee that Iran will not be attacked again. And number two is permanent end to the war, not just a ceasefire. So Trump's trying to get a 45-day ceasefire, and they're saying, no ceasefire. We end the war, and they want security guarantees. It'd have to be like a European country or something like that to give them, like, say, hey, we will defend you if America attacks again. No European country is going to do that. Pakistan, maybe. I don't know who would do that. Number three, end to Israeli strikes in Lebanon. Non-starter. Bibi's not going to see. They're wiping out whole villages in Lebanon right now. The videos we're not even talking about, just showing villages just getting blown to nothing, just blown back to the Stone Age, happening all along the southern border of Lebanon right now. It's crazy. They're not stopping.
Yeah, they're saying it's a war crime. Like what they're doing in Lebanon is just a giant war crime.
Okay, I'd like to stop you right there because I'm pretty sure that was anti-Semitic, and I'm not going to tolerate that on this show. If you'd like to take in a second and apologize, I'm totally fine with that.
No, I'm gonna stick with my war crime.
Well,
Yeah. I think this whole thing is a war crime. I think we're committing war crimes. I think Israel's committing war crimes. I think that the Middle East has a lot of issues, but I don't think that these countries deserve to be. I don't think these people deserve to be murdered.
Innocent civilians never deserve to get caught in this crossfire.
No.
Real quick, just since we went down this hole, the Times of Israel had a big article today, kind of helping us understand where you cross the line into being anti-Semitic.
Saying that Israel dragged the U.S. to war isn't just wrong; it's anti. Go fuck yourself.
So
Okay.
saying that Israel dragged the U.S. to war isn't just wrong; it's anti-Semitic. All right, just so we're all clear, I wanted you to know where the boundary is on this show. Okay, don't walk past that line.
Hey,
Don't walk past that line, buddy. All right, back to our 10-point plan. Number 4, lifting all U.S. sanctions on Iran. That one might be doable because right now we have lifted all the sanctions. Like we took all the sanctions was on their oil. We took it off. I assume
we got 1 of 4 so far. We're on
1 of 4.
Okay.
An end to all regional fighting against Iranian allies. So that'd be Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. Not going to happen at all. Saudi Arabia wants to eliminate the Houthis. Israel wants to eliminate Hezbollah and Hamas. Like, And this is one where I'm just like, that's such a non-starter because like, what is Hamas and Hezbollah also going to agree to stop attacking Israel? No, because they feel like Israel's persecuting now the Lebanese and the Palestinians in Gaza. So that's just totally that's la la land. That's not going to happen.
Mhm.
In return, Iran would open the Strait of Hormuz. That
Oh.
sounds good, except for the next points. Iran would impose a Hormuz fee of 2 million per ship. Iran would
Mm.
split these fees with Oman. Iran to provide rules for safe passage through Hormuz. Iran to use Hormuz fees for reconstruction instead of reparations. Up until now, they've been saying as part of their like 5 point, 10 point plan that they want the U.S. to pay them reparations for the war, which was never going to happen. But now they're saying 2 million. The only reason that I think that that one actually isn't as far fetched as you may think is because Trump might agree to that. Hardly, like almost none of our oil comes through the Strait of Hormuz. So those ships would all be paying a $2 million fee to go through, and the other countries would have to deal with that. That wouldn't affect us at all. It would affect the global price of oil a little bit.
Yeah, it would affect us
But I
pretty
could see I could
significant.
see Trump being like, yeah, fuck it. We don't have any ships going through there. So good luck. Like
Whoa. Okay, let's see. If Iran posed, what is it, 2 million?
so yeah,
2
so I already did this
million.
math for you.
Okay.
300
Oh,
on average 300,000 or was it 300,000 ships go through the Strait of Hormuz a year. 2 billion a ship. $600 billion a year split two ways between them and Oman. So $300 billion a year for Iran.
well, I'm trying to figure out how much that is per barrel of oil. That's
I don't.
$1 per barrel. Okay.
That's not bad. I mean, the oil was at like
Better than it is now. Better
oil was at
than
like $47 to $50 a barrel before all this started. If it went up $1, that's fine. So
yeah,
yeah.
it's not too bad.
So, um, speaking of the dollars, real quick, since 1974, the world has only traded oil in the dollar. That's one of the reasons the dollar is so strong. Iran is making sure that every ship that pays it, because right now ships are paying the $2 million fee to go through the strait. That's the way any of them are getting through. And Iran is saying it has to be in the Chinese, I think it's the yuan is how you say it. Um, but because America can't sanction that. If it was in the dollar, America could stop that money from going to them. So they're saying it has to be in the yuan. There is a group of nations called the BRICS nations that's been their goal for the past decade is to change oil to be traded in the yuan so that America can't have control over everybody.
Mm.
Lindsey Graham had a thought on this. Let's hear him out real quick.
As to the Strait of Hormuz, right now they're charging ships, the IRGC, the Iranians, to go through the straits, and they're taking the yuan, not the dollar. One threat of this whole debacle is if we start allowing the Chinese currency to be traded in oil, that will hurt the dollar. In 1974, every barrel of oil sold and traded in the world is traded in dollars. Now, what are the Iranians trying to do? They're trying to change the currency from a dollar to a Chinese yuan, and that's an attack on the dollar. And that needs to end too. So I'm very optimistic that President Trump's going to bring this regime to an end one way or the other. I prefer diplomacy. But this time tomorrow night, they're either going to do a deal that makes sense for the world and the region and for Iran itself, or we're going to blow them up.
We're gonna blow them
Oh,
up.
he wanted to just say we're going to blow him because, it's Lindsey. Anyhow, so Lindsey he brings up a good point there. Now, first of all, we wouldn't be in danger of this happening at all if we hadn't started all this mess. But now this is a for real thing. People have said like it, and this could be people who are being alarmist. Totally, I'm not an economist. I don't know, but people have said that like if the BRICS nations win at some point, and now all global oil is traded in the yuan instead of the dollar, it'll cause the dollar to come crashing down so fast and so hard, our inflation in America would spike to like 30 to 50%. Like dollars would be worth almost nothing, and like it would kill America. Like this is something we don't want. Like as much as you can say I don't like Trump and this and that, I didn't want to fight Iran, like that should scare everybody in America. That's how you kill a country. That's what alarmists are saying. Maybe they're being alarmists. I don't know. That worries me a little bit. And that seems to be part of their goal right here is, hey, if what is it, a fifth of the world's oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz, if suddenly a fifth of the world's oil is being traded in the yuan, that is gonna hurt the dollar. That is gonna cause inflation. To what level? To what level can be argued about, but it's gonna cause something. So maybe it's just minor, maybe it's a lot. I don't know. So
Yeah, interesting.
it's fun to think about,
Huh.
isn't it?
Yeah, very fun.
Yeah,
Super
so
fun. This is all so much fun, Andy.
I'm having a blast right now. I've only got one other video, and it's totally off topic, random. Do you have anything you want to get in before the end here?
Um, yeah, let's actually yes. Let's do
Okay.
this now. I have
Yeah, yeah.
I pulled a video. I haven't had time to look into it. Tell me if this is real or not.
God. Okay, before I even look at this, you're almost like a boomer sometimes when it comes to online. I haven't even seen this video yet. Real quick, somebody posted an AI generated photo of what they were claiming was the second pilot, the weapon systems operator that we rescued was Sunday, I guess. And they
Hmm.
posted an AI generated photo of supposedly him coming back on a helicopter, and all the guys behind him are patting him on the back, and he's got an American flag. And when it first came out, it was like, who's going to fall for this AI generated slop? Like, who could possibly? And then Governor Abbott of Texas retweeted the image, and then
Oh.
like several older people I know on Facebook were posting the image, and like, how great is this? And I was just like, they're all falling for it. All right, let me see your video here.
It's fine.
Docs, be honest with me. When you watch that, did you think it could have been real?
I want it to be real, and it's not outside the realm of possibility, right?
It's not even good fake stuff. Like, yes, it's outside of the realm of possibility right now, and that was incredibly fake. So
It's not outside the realm of possibility.
it's outside the realm of
So,
possibility, buddy.
say,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, that's probably the discombobulator.
That's not the discombobulator. Now, here you want. Sorry, I didn't even get to this real quick before my last video. The whole conspiracy theory about us taking over that air base in Iran and all that. I didn't pull the pictures because it's almost like doxing people. But Iran is claiming that they found like military IDs and wallets like in the wreckage. Like we cleared our people out, we got them out on other planes, we blew up the planes that were still there, and they accidentally left their wallets behind. I don't know how plausible that is. Like that, I feel like that might not. But like two of the names, both women, strangely, but one of them was like an American Air Force personnel. I don't want to say pilot. And we got her name. We got the pictures of her Air Force ID, pictures of her American Express card, which for some reason was also there. That's what makes it like who's bringing their Amex with them. But maybe she just brought her wallet. Maybe she brought her purse. I don't have any clue. But there's that, and then the other ID is also a female, and she's Israeli, and people found her on LinkedIn, and she has something to do with like nuclear systems. Like if they were trying to get the uranium, she would have been like an expert consultant that they would have brought along for that purpose. So, but even there, like I'm seeing all these pictures, Iran's putting them out, but like that could be totally fake. Like it doesn't make sense to me that they had their IDs on them on this mission.
Yeah, I mean, I think you keep your ID on you. Like you probably have a ruck, like a backpack,
So
and you probably have all your stuff in it, including your wallet with your ID and your like if you're on base or whatever, you have to pay for stuff with your card.
So,
So,
but from everything I've seen today from military people, an operation like this where you're going behind enemy lines, like it's a special
mhm.
operations deal. Like there's a term for it, and it's not this isn't correct, but it's like you go in clean is kind of what it is. I can't remember the exact term, but like all you have on you is your dog tag, and your dog tag doesn't even have your name. It has like a serial number on it that like they can use to identify you. But like for a mission such as this, it's like very standard protocol that like you don't take any identifying stuff. Like if you get
Well, you
captured,
gotta have a license to fly a plane, Andy. And like, what if shit hits the fan and you gotta like steal a car? Like, you gotta have your driver's license on you to drive the car.
uh, I stand corrected. You were probably right. It'd be foolish to go on a secret mission behind enemy lines without your American Express card and ID. You're correct. Give you that. So, anyhow, but the reason I brought that up is like I wanted to pull some of those pictures tonight. I didn't because again, we're kind of doxing those people. But also like I don't know if I believe that or not. Like that it could very well be some kind of AI or information warfare happening by Iran. I don't know.
Yeah, and if you're working for the government and you are doing nuclear stuff and you're that high up, you probably don't have a LinkedIn.
Yeah, which I'm trying to remember exactly what her LinkedIn said. And the link, like I was seeing screenshots of the LinkedIn. That screenshot might have been forged. Like that might have been something somebody totally like. There's no like Twitter right now is like the place where I'm getting most of my news about the war, but also it's the place where like all of the information is starting on Twitter, like the misinformation. So
Yeah.
everything I see, I have to go like independently verify before I believe it at all. And those things I just mentioned, like I couldn't independently verify. Like I don't know for sure the whole thing, and even like how close the runway was to the nuclear facility at Isfahan. I saw a lot of things today where they were showing it on maps, and they were like, "Look, it's right here next to the nuclear place." They were obviously going for that. That might not even been real. I don't have any clue. Like so, it's
Okay.
so easy to get fooled by all the stuff. So you just got to be worried about it.
That's true.
It's also easy to get fooled by a con man, and that's my final video of the night. Um,
Ooh.
Trump's ballroom is famously going to cost like $300 million, but don't worry, America, you don't have to pay for it. Okay. Now,
Well, it started as 200, then 250, then 300, then $400 million.
but now he's saying it's coming in on schedule and under budget or something like that. He keeps saying. I don't know how much it's going to cost, but every time somebody complains about it, a Republican will say, "Hey, the taxpayer doesn't have to pay for it. So what are you worried about? Like it's private donations." Okay, whatever. At the same time, though, he keeps replacing like the tile in the bathrooms at the White House, and then like he puts videos of it online, and he's like, "Ooh, look at the new tile in the link," and it's, "Ooh, this is the best marble," blah blah blah, and it's like, stop spending our money fixing up the White House. Like, what are you doing? They haven't flat out said that that's coming from our tax dollars, but you got to believe it is. Like, I don't think he's paying for that. Um, he decided recently that since we're doing the ballroom, we really need to upgrade the executive residence in the White House, which is basically the president's bedroom and living room and all that. It's
Mhm.
outdated. It needs to be upgraded. I work in this field. I know what it costs to renovate a house, a large house even. Um, what would you guess, ballpark? What's the number you would guess that he's going to ask Congress for to upgrade the residence? It's just bedroom and living room and probably the kitchen. They have an executive kitchen, I'm sure, with a chef.
If his ballroom costs 400 million, I'm going to
Okay,
go with 150 million.
you're so under on this. Check it out real quick.
On top of that, Donald Trump is now asking taxpayers to be on the hook for renovations to the executive residence to the tune of $377 million. That is according to the new White House budget request for next year. It marks a more than 800% increase from last year.
So apparently there's already money in the budget every year to like up to probably for upkeep of the executive residence. 800% increase. He wants $377 million to upgrade the residence next year. Remember when he was building all this shit and we were like, he's not leaving. Like you wouldn't start building all this if you were planning on leaving. Like he's upgrading the whole executive residence and then he's just going to leave. Now I'm starting to get worried that he's not leaving.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to leave.
Plus, you know how fucking gaudy it's going to be? Like, it's not going to be classy. There's going to be gold everywhere. Like, have you ever seen the pictures of his penthouse in Trump Tower in New York? It's it's just not my taste. I'm just going to say it's not. Maybe
No.
there's some people that find it appealing. It's not for
It's
me.
very Saudi prince like.
hmm Middle Eastern
Yeah.
prince. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which he's going to spend 377 next year. That's fiscal year 2020. I guess maybe 27 is when they're talking about.
Yeah.
He's going to do that. And then in 2028, somebody's going to come in and then request a shitload of money to undo the hideousness of what he's done. So,
Well, every president comes in and they get a budget and they get to redo the living quarters, right?
I don't know that. I mean,
Yeah, because I remember when Obama did it, the Republicans were complaining about how much money he was spending, and
okay.
I think he tore down a wall or something. They were complaining about how he was remodeling,
Okay.
and now because I think they get rid of all of the mattresses, they get rid of the carpet, they redo everything for them
Yeah.
so that they have fresh new stuff. So,
But I'm guessing, let's say that the new president comes in and spends let's say $10 million. That seems like a lot. But let's say they
it's a
spend
shit
$10 million on new mattresses and changing out some rugs and blah, 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 painting the walls, maybe. Like, that's a
ton.
lot. Trump's doing 377 million. Like, what? I would think you could build a whole new White House for that. Like, why? What's funny is he's calling it a renovation. And what do you want to bet they don't like tear down like the whole East Wing now and like rebuild it? And he's like, oh, what? I'm just renovating. Like, kind of like with the Kennedy
Yeah.
Center. He's just renovating, but they're tearing it down to the steel. So very possible. And
Uh,
he'll just work out of Mar-a-Lago that whole time. If it takes him a year, he'll just stay at Mar-a-Lago and he'll be like, "Well, I'd love to go to the White House, but I can't because they're renovating right now, so I got to be here." He's much happier.
that might be his plan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Southern White
Hmm.
House, as he calls it. So, and then real quick, I didn't even pull anything on this. We're gonna have to talk about it next time. But he's asking for 1.5 trillion in the budget next year for military for the Pentagon. The highest it's ever been is 1 trillion, which it was this year, and now he's asking
him.
for 1.5, which is significant. The Republicans are realizing that if they have any chance to pass this, they have to do it under what's called a reconciliation, which basically they can't add any new expenditures. It's got to be neutral. It's got to be what they call it, revenue neutral, I think is the way they say it. So if you're going to add a $500 billion, you have to take it away of somewhere else. That's the only way you can pass it under reconciliation. So Trump put out his priority list of how he wants them to come up with this $500 billion. And it's Medicare, Medicaid, all like the social programs, housing programs for veterans, like all the things that you would think it'd be suicide to cut leading into an election. And that's exactly what Trump asked to be cut. So I'll have the list next time so we can go through it. But it's just one of those where it's like, I'm starting to worry that he's not worried about losing the next election because it's not going to be free and fair. And I've been the one, every time you bring that up, I'm like, hold on, time out. But like, he seems to not care about the election coming up, which is worrying me. Like, if he cared at all, if he wanted Republicans to hold the House or the Senate or for JD to have a chance in 2028, like, he wouldn't be doing half of this shit. Like, this budget thing is the craziest just from a point of like, he clearly isn't worried about an election. That's all I can say. It's freaky.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't know. I think he's got a trick up his sleeve. I mean, it sounds like Bannon and he's got Elon Musk on his side. Like, there's some
Yeah,
shit they probably know and can do.
I think they're fully counting on like the tech billionaires, Zuckerberg, Mark Andreessen, Peter Thiel, Elon. They're going to pump a lot of money into, and it's not going to be like standard campaign ads you see on TV. It's going to be like tweaking the algorithms. Like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok are all under control of a strong Trump ally. So you're going to start like everything I see is bad for the Democrats and good for the Republicans. And then the podcast sphere is really it worries me because, like I said, those guys don't have to say where their money comes from. Like Tim Pool is the greatest example of this. Like about a year or two ago, Tim Pool suddenly became like extremely pro-Israel, like ridiculously. Like he won't let anybody say anything bad about Israel on his show. And then it came out that he met with Bibi 2 different times. Bibi has publicly said that like that's their strategy is they're pumping money into the podcast to get favorable like coverage in America of Israel. Like it seems to me like Tim Pool is definitely getting Israeli money somehow, and it's anti-Semitic to say that, I'm sure. But like when you just look at the sudden change where he went from not really caring one way or another to like the most pro-Israel guy you could possibly imagine he just turned on a dime. And it's like, okay, what caused this?
Well, remember Tim Pool was getting like a ridiculous amount of money per episode from like some Russian oligarch.
It was Tenet Media, and so glad this came up today. The lady that was running Tenet Media on the American side, her name is Lauren Chen. And I can't remember where she's from originally, but she's a shady right-wing person. But she was the one taking the money in from Russia and then distributing it to all these people through her media company, Tenet Media. And when it all came out, she fled to Canada. Her and her husband have been in Canada for the last couple of years. Like they haven't been charged, but they're up there just in case. And then you'll never believe who ended up at the Easter egg roll at the White House this morning. Lauren Chen and her husband, who like they should be very happy they never got prosecuted by the DOJ, and now the Trump White House invited them to the White House Easter egg roll. That's an admission right there. So
Oh
throwing that out there.
yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a little scared. So you're thinking he's not even worried about the midterms.
I don't. He's not acting like he cares at all. He's acting like he's acting like someone who is basically saying, "Hey, don't worry, I got a trick up my sleeve for this." Like that's kind of that's the vibe he's doing.
Yeah. Well, he always complains about paper ballots and how like Dominion can be hacked.
Hmm.
And I get the feeling that Elon Musk and his Starlink has some sort of, I mean,
Yeah.
these hackers are pretty damn good. I don't know. I mean, I'm not, this is just my conspiracy brain talking, but there seems to be something weird going on with that because
So
he did get like full access to all of the organizations that were suing his companies and he gutted them.
I so I'll say this. I'm not bought in on the whole like Elon Musk hacked the election type thing. What he was doing out in the open, giving away $1 million for people to vote in the election, all that was already corrupt enough. But there are some weird little nuggets. Like Joe Rogan has said a couple different times that like Elon was like on his computer or on his phone like that evening, and then at one point he just like got up and was like, "All right, we won, we got this," and like left to fly to Washington. And that was like 3 or 4 hours before they called the election. Like, so little statements like that people have made where I'm like, hold on, what? But also, like, he might have just had a very sophisticated keeping track of the voters and making sure, like, that's the ground game on election day is to make sure that your people actually get to the polls. And maybe he had some kind of a system going where they knew that they got enough of their people to the polls. I don't know. I will
He was
say,
tracking people's phones.
the comments that have been made have made me go, what? Like, I'm not saying, but I'm saying that I'm definitely a little like I'm open to more information. Like, if anybody has anything else to add to this, I'm all ears. But at the moment, I would not say that Elon hacked the election. But like I said, I'm
Yeah.
open.
Well,
I'm open for business. What do you got?
yeah. I mean, yeah, what I said was just a conspiracy theory that I came up with that I've,
No, there's people that truly believe that. There's a whole conspiracy theory online about this. And like I
Mm,
said, there's just enough evidence to where I feel like you can't flat out dismiss it, but I'm also not going to say it seems likely.
okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
It's
Fair.
hanging out in the doubtful category for now.
Okay.
So,
It's less than doubtful for me at this point.
okay, I'm with you. So, all
Okay.
right, we're signing off, but give me your percentage meter. Percentage we get a taco versus percentage he goes all in. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, he rains down hell on all of Iran.
Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, I'm gonna go 30, 70% chance he tacos.
Okay, and 30% chance he goes for it.
No.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna end up eating my words on this, but I'm gonna say 90% chance he tacos and pushes it, and he'll say, "Hey, we're actually making really good progress right now with Iran. We're gonna give him
Hmm.
another couple days," and he's gonna push it to Friday because that's when the
Yeah.
market closes. So that's my 90% is that happens. 10% chance that he says, "Hey, 7 o'clock came and went. It's on now."
So when we do ground invasion,
And that doesn't mean ground invasion, real quick.
right.
That that and it's called the escalation trap, and I've heard this one guy keeps showing up on every podcast I listen to talking about it. But Trump is stuck in an escalation trap right now, and every time he does something, Iran has to one up that, and then we have to one up that, and like the road we're going down points ultimately to ground troops, but we're not there yet. So
Okay. But we're sending ground troops to the region.
sending that field artillery brigade or whatever, like that has me really like, it's like, okay, you don't send them unless you're at least thinking about it. Like just because they go there, it might be to give Trump options on what to do, but at least like that's a serious option right now that we're mobilizing field artillery units. Like they operate like howitzers and they're that kind of stuff. So
Hmm. Fun.
yeah, you don't do that unless you're over there. Like you can't howitzer, or maybe you can, but in general, you can't be in Saudi Arabia and start shelling Iran. It's too far away. I think maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong on that. I don't know how advanced shelling has gotten.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if we do put ground ground troops in. We need that 60% enriched uranium.
Yep.
We don't need it, but that's one thing we would go after. But we would also try and take the Strait of Hormuz.
I don't know how you do that. I like that. How do you do it? It makes no sense. Also, we won't bring our military within like 300 miles of the coast of Iran right now because that I'm sure we talked about it, but like Trump finally admitted that like our one aircraft carrier over there that didn't catch on fire, like we had the one that caught on fire and had to leave, but the other one had 101 missiles shot at it all at once, and somehow they shot down every missile and it escaped. But ever since then, it moved out to be like 300 plus miles off the coast and hasn't come back near the Iranian coast ever since because of that attack. So our Navy's kind of not in the fight at the moment. Like all the fighter planes and bombers are taking off from ground bases. Like our Navy's just kind of there hanging out, like in case.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, scary. So, all right, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hopefully we won't talk tomorrow, but if all hell breaks loose, we'll be talking tomorrow.
Peace, like, and subscribe.
Later.
Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you.